I'm going to open this seminar and say welcome to this webinar, which is called In for the Long Haul, Girls' Education, Conflict and South Sudan. And hosting this with Golda Abe, who will introduce herself in a moment. We've got a really interesting lineup of speakers, all of whom grew up in Western Equatoria State. Some of them are still working there. Some have gone on to national roles. So we have the Minister for Education for Western Equatoria State. We have somebody who's a really renowned human rights activist, Lorna Merekaje. We've got the former Minister of Education, who is now the most senior civil servant in the Ministry for Peacebuilding. And we've got the Archbishop of the Episcopal Church of South Sudan, based in Western Equatoria State. So a really interesting lineup. Because the internet is often very unstable in relation to South Sudan, we have filmed all these people, and some have to give their apologies for today. We are hoping that the Minister for Education will actually join us directly, but we're not, well, we'll just have to wait and see. In the room today, we've got people with really rich and varied experience and connections to South Sudan, and a number who've actually been to and been involved in Iba Girls boarding school. So just to give a sense of who might be in the room, I think our chair, Dave Lewis, hasn't yet been able to join, but he's certainly planning to. So it'd be good to have him on the call. We have John Bennington, who's the former chair and who now is vice president for Friends of Iba Girls School. And we also have trustees Julia Sanders and Justin Gordon-Mortat. So great to have them. We've also got a number of people who've lived and worked in South Sudan, and some of them know Iba. I'll probably end up missing some people here, but I'd like to point out particularly Sister Margaret Scott, who was the principal at, Margaret, who was the principal at Solidarity Teacher Training College, which is in Yambio in Western Equatoria State. And Margaret worked there for over a decade, helped to get the school set up, and was an IGBS trustee, and has given enormous and valuable advice to FIGS. We've also got other people who've been there, Nigel and Caroline Whelans. I think I saw on somewhere I saw their video. Hi, Nigel and Carol. We also have Dolway Johnson, who's the chair of a charity called Fields of Life. And I know he's been to Iba a number of times, once with John Bennington in 2014. Diane Graham, I see on the call as well. I can't count how many times she's been to Iba. And Caroline Noel and Margaret Bremner have, well, Caroline worked in Yambio some years ago, and Margaret, we've been hearing, worked in Khartoum. Now, I'm probably missing out some other people. Actually, Mary and John Twiddell, for example, worked in Khartoum. But anyway, just think what rich experience we've got in the room here. We also have a number of diaspora on this webinar as well, from the UK, from Germany, Golda, for example, many of whom have had all or part of their education in South Sudan, but some of whom had to flee as refugees suddenly because of the war. And then, of course, we've got everybody else, and there's some overlapping groups here anyway, donors and supporters. We've got people on the call from the UK, Italy. We're due to have somebody from Australia, And also I see we have Irene Fabiano, actually based in Juba at the moment. So what a fantastic group of people we've got here, a really rich set of experiences and views. So I hope we can draw on all of you this morning. We're going to hear from our speakers and also get some updates about the school. So do ask questions or put comments, either put your hand up to ask a question or put something in chat. The school's getting on its feet again after a year of government decreed school closure, and the girls are enjoying being back at school, and everything's getting moving again after quite a long and difficult period of closure. The school is recruiting for a new head teacher, and that's in process at the moment in South Sudan, and also a new senior finance officer as well. We've called this webinar In for the Long Haul because we recognize that education can have immediate impacts, but also it's something that takes time. And our commitment to the girls at Iba Girls Boarding School is for 9 years as they go into P4 and hopefully do not leave until they leave at the end of S4 with some qualifications. So that's a long period of commitment. And we know that education also has lifelong effects as well. It's not only about skills, it's about developing confidence, it's about developing independence. And we know that educated women are less vulnerable to family violence, domestic abuse, and so on. So there's, and also they put more positively, I suppose, the contribution that they can make to their families, to their state, to the country. And yet we got a report that's just out in South Sudan from the National Examinations Council about the 2020 secondary exam results. And what it shows is that only 11,638 girls across the whole country completed their secondary education in 2020. And this is in a country of approximately 11 million people. There's only about half the number of girls as there are boys. It's still a quite distressing statistic for boys as well in a country that size. In Western Equatoria, both boys and girls, there were 1,593 people, boys and girls, who completed their secondary education. And if girls are about a third, we would be expecting about 500 or so of those to be girls. So this is tiny for a developing country. And it means that our commitment to Iba Girls Boarding School, if we're able to ensure the graduation of around 40 girls a year, as is the plan and the design, that's going to have a huge impact on Western Equatoria State and on the well-being of the country. So just bear that in mind, I think, those figures, as we listen to some videos from speakers around Western Equatoria State. I'm going to hand over to Golda now. Thank you very much.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Jean. My name is Golda Abe. I am a Friends of Iba Girls School ambassador. Before I start, I just wanted to pass my condolences to Justin Motat, a trustee who lost his mother's very close friend and a dear mother to himself as well, Mama Mary Ayandit, this morning at the University College Hospital, London. So Justin, condolences to you and your family, and may her soul rest in peace. I was involved in the last webinar we held in mid-April on the role of girls' education in promoting peace and development in South Sudan. We concluded that Iba Girls School is a big gift and an example of shining light of education and darkness of illiteracy. There is hope for the future, and hence today's themes of girls' education for the long haul in South Sudan. So our first speaker today is going to be Lorna Nadia. She's a trained biomedical technologist at the University of Nairobi and a very active advocate for civil rights in South Sudan. She is the Secretary General at the moment of the South Sudan National Civil Society organization, and she participated in the constitutional review in South Sudan. And recently she received from the French and German ambassador an award for human rights in 2020 for her defense of human rights in South Sudan. She is not going to be joining us in person because we've had connection problems, but we will be sharing a small video which she impassionedly shares her opinion and her views about girls' education. Thank you.